I'm a child of God, baby, not the only one. My mama raised me off of stories about the sun, 'cause it was gone. All that she would tell, it was gone. Blocked out by the smog, and if the smog ain't moving on, that sun is gone. Now my eyes have seen the glory of industrial disease. My mama raised me telling tales about the trees, 'cause they were gone. Oh, my mama knew the trees were gone. They're roasted inside out. There's no soil fences for all those trees are gone. Now she had an optimistic streak, or maybe she was scared. Bless her soul, my mama said the ocean would be spared, and now it's gone. By the time I reached the shore, it all was gone. Well, I'm glad she didn't live to see the day that she was wrong. 'Cause when I reached the ocean, it was gone, gone, gone. Is there anybody listening? Is there anyone that sees what's going on? Read between the lines, criticize the words they're selling. Think for yourself and feel the
Hi, it's Monday. I feel like I just slid into second base. It's been a hell of a morning. Good morning and welcome back to the trailer park. I am Chanda-Masta and this is Hello Monday. Yes, I know there's a lot of confusion. There was a card up. I was supposed to have Craig Pasta Jardula from the Convo Couch on with me this morning. And apparently he's had a medical emergency, but he's okay. And Fee got the morning shift at RT. So that means they've got to go earlier, which means they're probably going to be live at the same time as me. But that's okay. I understand. We are fams, man. And you have patience with fams and you understand, and I totally understand. So, I write shows different when I'm going to have Pasta on because for one, I wanted to really talk to him about all things RFK Jr. from last week, right? And so I had a lot of that stuff, which we've already talked about on the deck. And I really didn't have a very big show because Pasta can go. I mean, it's easy. You just volley him the ball and he can go for a half hour, which is really nice. I don't have to bring a ton of content. So at 4:45 this morning, I got up and wrote us a show for this morning. It's probably not the best show I've ever wrote, but we're here and we're going to do it. So if at any time Convo goes live, Jilly, Jax, everybody, I understand if you jump off and you go hang out over there. I get it. I love my brothers and sisters at the Convo Couch. We have been working very closely for many years and, things happen, shit happens, and this morning happened. So that's where we're at. Kate, mass love to you. Thank you so much for the donation I saw come in this morning. Yes, my vehicle is at the shop right now, getting an estimate. Oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm so scared it's going to be thousands of dollars to fix everything that's wrong with it. Every time I take it in, it is. I mean, I just had the transmission replaced a couple of years ago, and that was like $3,200, I want to say. It's insane to get vehicles worked on. But what are you going to do? Go buy a new vehicle? Because that's insane. New cars, I can't even look at a new car, Like I have double and triple digits to buy a car. Not happening. But anyways, it is Monday. How is everybody out there? How is the weather where you're at? It's still freezing where I'm at. It is 63 degrees currently, and it rained and has been gloomy all week. The whole entire last week might as well have been fall for everybody else. Crazy weather we're in right now, right? Let's see. Fair use. Yeah, you guys saw the fair use. That Oz says to me on Saturday, he goes, "You see this?" And he clicks something and it jump slides and it says error unobtainable or some shit. And he goes, "It's the slide deck being embedded that's doing this." And sure enough, it did it to me this morning. So yes, Oz, I see it too. I do. Yeah, I'm moving too fast for my camera this morning. It's all that caffeine. So yeah, I had a card up. You guys might have saw it, but we'll get Pasta on the show. Pasta, he's fam. He'll eventually stop by and tell us what's up. I know he's planning on heading to an RFK Jr. event, I think next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. New cars are all computerized. The old cars are worth more now. People want unhackable cars. Yes, Jim, we do want unhackable cars. My car is a 2008 and it still has got a ton of computerized bullshit. Like, I'm having more problems with the sensors on my new vehicle than the thing that it's censoring for. So, like, the idiot lights are my biggest problem, and the smog emission. I have a plug catalytic converter. We don't check for emissions in Washington state. If you bring a car in from out of state, then you've got to get it inspected. But other states do inspect. Like, I lived in Louisiana, you have to go get your car inspected every year to get your window tag. We don't do window tags in Washington state. We just do license tags. They don't care if you're polluting the environment. Washington state, you would think it'd be a hell of a lot different. Not that I want it any different, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm just gonna cut that catalytic converter off and leave it out for somebody to steal. I keep waiting, like, come on, somebody come steal my catalytic converter. What ghetto do I gotta park in to get this shit stolen? So, but you're right about the older cars. The older cars are easier to work on. I agree. My brother's a mechanic. I managed a mechanic shop. Being a single lady, I've had to work on my car many times by myself, and there's been some crazy shit. You go buy a manual and you learn how to fix something. And even with my pretty fancy nails, I can still climb under a car and change out a freeze plug if I need to, or replace my own radiator, or I don't know, help somebody put a new motor in my 84 Buick Regal, stuff like that. You make do when you have to, right? So I'm hoping that it won't be too bad, but I've been stressed about it all night. So yeah, I've had no sleep. I saw Pasta's message come in at like 4:30 and I was like, oh, I better get up and write a show. But we got some stuff to talk about. And let's start out with talking about this piece of shit, Cory Booker. God, this guy dupes us. He was the first one to dupe me. He duped me way before Obama. But check out his Barbie Jeep. Come on, just play.
Come on, we got important things to do. It's her and me and you. And pink goes with everything. Beautiful from head to toe. I'm ready to go. You know it's pink.
That was so gross. Oh my God, so gross. I remember, I'll never forget this. 2008. No, 2008, 2009. I'm in the throes of total opiate addiction. Like, I'm living from Percocet to Percocet or methadone to methadone, whatever I was taking at the time. And I end up in this like flop house, which is a crazy, horrible story. And it was loaded with bees, but on the inside, like there was bees in the house. Anyways, I wanted something to watch, right? When you're poor, you have no cable, you have no satellite. I mean, back then, internet was, a laptop and whatever you could log on to or download, because download speeds were crazy in the early 2000s, right? And so I find this CD and it's called The Hype. And I'm like, okay, well, what the hell is this? Well, it's Cory Booker's story. And it was Cory Booker out there playing basketball at midnight in the ghetto. Remember when he did his whole, I'm going to live on food stamps and live in the ghetto to show you guys just how terrible it is? Do you guys remember this shit? He actually did this. We literally thought he would be the first Black president. Like, a huge amount of us in this country thought Cory Booker would be the first Black president. But no, it was all hype. It was just all hype. He named his documentary, right? It was hype. That was so freaking crazy. Yeah, Cory Booker, what a fucking, he was the first one to really disappoint me. And I should have known it was the beginning of something that was going to last for decades, right? Oz, he was cool. Yeah, he was. Okay, let me shout out the chats while they're in here. Let's see. Snow Leopard. Hi, Snow Leopard. You're so kind. Let's see. Chili Love 101's hanging out. Uncle Warren, what's up? Extra Bulla. Popeye's in the house. Chili, I totally get it if you got to go mod for Convo. We don't have a lot of mods over there, so I totally understand when you go over there. The Willie Bragg Show is hanging out. Hey, Willie, what's up? Anthony. Oz the Boomer's in the house. house. I tried to talk Oz into coming on this morning, and then I knew that was a little cruel, so I let him out of it. Let's see. Monday morning surprise. Why don't you get on air with me in like an hour? Yeah, it doesn't go over so well. Let's see. V's here. Hi, V. What's up, V? Comrade Kitty. Meow. My cat's been a pain in the ass this morning. She got into my seeds and ate my broccoli seeds. What? What? Why would a cat eat broccoli seeds? That just blows my mind. Bad cookies. Is it me or does Shanda just get more and more awesome after every stream? Hit that like, folks. Yeah, you're too kind. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I don't know if I get it awesome at all, but I feel like I work for you, so I'm just gonna keep plugging away and showing up on time and doing the do, man. Let's see. Why are you guys talking about Pee Wee Herman? Did Pee Wee die? Did Pee Wee die? Don't tell me Pee Wee died. Pee Wee Herman has been such a huge part of my life. I'm gonna be really sad if Pee Wee Herman died. I mean, for all the jokes that we made about Pee Wee, if he's gone, he was an amazing actor. He really was. Blow. I would say I would give you Blow as one of his best roles ever. I loved him in Blow. Yeah, apparently broccoli seeds are like catnip or something. I hope it's not going to hurt them. Lizzie, good morning over on the Rokfin. Thank you so much for those super Ray. He died of cancer. Oh my lord, that's so sad. Well, rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, for all the shit that they, talked about him and getting caught, doing whatever he did in a theater. I don't know. I don't have any judgment on that. I just say rest in peace. I mean, I was a huge Pee-wee's Big Adventure in the 90s. My little brothers played it every day. I can still quote it to you. And like I said, as he got older, he really nailed some good roles. And I think Blow was one of the best roles he ever did. Denver Attaway's hanging out. Cheers, Cheech and Chong. Nice dreams, Hamburger Man. And Amber King, he did. I'm so sad. I'm so sad for that. I mean, did he get burp, burp? Probably. I'm sure that speeded it along, right? We know how that is. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see a lot of people dropping off, I think. Let's see. Copeland Morris is in the house. So is Jim. Yeah, I know I played the Jessie Jet again, but I ran it on Friday night for movie night, and a lot of you weren't hanging out. So, and I get it, it's Friday night, but I wanted you to see it because I love me some Jessie. Jessie does a great job, man. What a good jam for a Monday morning. Fred Edwards is hanging up. Fred, tell me what's wrong with my sunflowers. They're starting to drop leaves on the bottom. They're turning yellow and drying up. I don't know if it's too much fertilizer, not enough fertilizer. I don't know. I'm having the same problem with my squash too. Or maybe it's the chemtrails. You never freaking know anymore. I've been gardening a long freaking time and there's some shit I've never seen happening. Let's make sure I get everybody. Fred Edwards, Jim, Denver Attaway. And Kate was hanging out there. It's okay, Kate. We understand. People have lives, man. That's why these things are recorded. A lot of times I end up going and listen to, Sabby's show, but 3 or 4 hours after she did it while I'm doing dishes or cooking dinner or Jimmy or whoever. That's the good thing about these being on YouTube and recorded. You can go watch them at your convenience. So hello to everybody who's watching after the fact. Okay, welcome, Dan. Enjoy the show. We're just going to hang out and go through this, and we are very interactive with the chat here. So it's probably the chemtrails, Oz. You're probably right. Okay, this day in history. There wasn't a lot for this day in history. Normally, I have to pick and choose because there's too much. Today, I was digging to find you guys shit for this day in history. So whether you believe it or not, in 1971, the lunar rover vehicle first used on the moon. So 1971, Apollo 15 astronauts, they get to cruise the moon. Whether you believe it or not. I don't know what I believe when it comes to the moon anymore. And let's see what else. 1997, Madeleine Albright was sworn in as Secretary of State on this day. Oh, too bad for all those little children, wasn't it? And it's Milton Freeman's birthday. You might want to say, hey. I don't know. I don't know what you'd want to say to Milton Freeman. I wouldn't be saying hey. And Game Boy was introduced on this day in 1988? Does that say 88 or 89? God, my eyes are so bad. I don't know. It was in the 80s. Game Boy. I remember Game Boys. We all had to have Game Boys as kids, man. 89. Okay, 89. There you go. I have some glasses on. And of course, American novelist, playwright, and essayist Gore Vidal was born or died on this day at the age of 86. Do you know, I once quoted a Gore Vidal quote to Chris Hedges, and he wasn't impressed. I said to him, well, was it Gore Vidal who said that you can't be looking for truth, or don't expect to tell any truths if you become a journalist? and Chris Hedges was like, I don't know, I must have just burned him or something. I mean, I was just like, well, okay, maybe not nowadays, but like, I don't know. I could just tell it chapped him, but okay. Okay. So let's talk about Biden. He's the best president we've ever had. Have you guys heard this? I mean, the amount of propaganda that the Dems push out for Biden is like nothing I've ever seen in my life. They truly want us to think that he is the second coming of Christ, that he is better than FDR. He is better than any fucking president that's ever lived in all of the history of our country. So let's hear Jean-Pierre tell us how great of a president we have.
This is a president that has done more in the first 2.5 years, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to really giving the American people a little bit of breathing room than any other president.
There you go. He gives us more breathing room than any other president in the history of the world. Amber says, I think that's a great quote. I thought it was a great quote too, but I'm telling you, Chris Hedges was not impressed with me when I spewed it at him outside the Department of Justice. I'll never forget the look on his face, like, are you calling me a fraud? And I wasn't implying him, but I guess he deems himself a journalist, so therefore he got wrapped up in it, right? I don't know. Oh God, Biden, it's so gross. There's so much going on that I didn't bring. Of course, we've got the Biden whistleblower. God, what is it? Dirk Diggler or something. I don't know, but they want to arrest him. I mean, he's already been arrested, right? This whistleblower that's got all the info on Burisma. Come on, Cameron, knock it off. But now he's been sentenced a while ago for some other shit. And so now the Department of Prisons wants him to turn himself in now that he's scheduled to testify against the Bidens. The whole system is so corrupt and so broken. It is just beyond repair and so gross that I just was like, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. You got Fox News going crazy about how dare they? They've got a whistleblower and now they want to put him in jail. And then you got CNN and MSNBS like, oh, these people are trying to railroad Biden and they're liars. And I don't even want to play the game anymore. I just don't. Gore Vidal was one of the greatest American writers who warned us that we are being governed by psychopaths. Yes, Copeland Morris. We are being governed by complete and utter psychopaths. That's the only way we know how to say it. So this was held over from when I was supposed to have pasta this morning, as many of you know. And we talked about this on Beauty and the Boomer, but I have some follow-up to it. So just for a reminder, since the assassination of his father in 1968, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. candidacy for presidency was provided Secret Service, but not for him, right? So he asked the Secret Service for protection and a detail, and they unequivocally told him, no, we're not giving you detail. Now, this is not anything new. Ever since 1968, presidential candidates, depending on the level of security that they need, they can apply for protection from the Secret Service. Now, of course, he got turned down. They said the reason they turned him down was it's too soon. It's too soon. It's not just before the election. No, we don't think you're in any danger. Right? He's not in any danger. We talked to the CIA. They said they're not coming after you, so we don't need to waste the money. But, first of all, I had to bring you Sarah Silverman's tweet to this, her comment back. can she just go away already? Ever since the DNC in 2016, when she stood up there and she looked at me and said, "You're being ridiculous," I can't stomach her. I can't handle her every time I see anything about her. And I never thought she was fucking funny in the goddamn first place, right? Who thought she was funny? She's all about dick and fart jokes. Can you get a little smarter and come up with something funny? Because we got plenty of guys making those jokes. Set yourself apart, honey. But no, she doesn't do that. She does stupid shit lib stuff like this. The number he cites are incorrect. So why such specific numbers? I'm once struck by there's no way he would purposely do this, and what are the chances that this is a coincidence? Aside from that, I thoughtfully turned off by politicians who constantly talk about how everything is unfair to them. Sound familiar? It's pathetic. Yeah. She's one to talk, right? She's one to talk. So, anyways, this is not the first candidate who's been turned down for Secret Service security. And we're going to start with the first one I know of, and that is Bernie Sanders. So, I had the article on this, and for some reason I lost it, but I can tell you what was in the article. Bernie asked for security in February, I want to say, of 2016, right? And that's when shit was getting scary. That's when the Bernie campaign, I know I was on the inside. I was a delegate. That's when we got hacked. And the same day that we got hacked, the Bernie infrastructure got hacked, was when the DNC came out and said the DNC had been hacked. And they tried to blame it on the Bernies. Remember? They're like, Bernie hacked us and stole our data. We were like, what the fuck are you talking about? You guys hacked us, and we know you hacked us. We saw you doing it. So anyways, they turned Bernie down for security, but guess who they gave security to? Of course, Trump, right? Trump got full on Secret Service detail, the hate threats, that just fed into the Trump derangement syndrome very early on. But get this. Do you guys remember, oh God, why did it just leave my head? The neurosurgeon, Dr. Carson. Ben Carson got security detail from the Secret Service months and months before the election. But RFK Jr., no, fuck you. You can't have none. But they were very, very worried about, Ben Carson. He needed that protection. I just thought I would remind people of that. How crazy is that? That's the crazy upside down world we live in. And can you imagine? Let's talk about it. So that was Obama's Secret Service, and I think it has to go through the Department of Homeland or Department of Justice or the Homeland Security. Either way, the formal request has to go through one of those. So Obama okayed it for Trump, and Obama okayed it for Ben Carson, but he did not okay it for Bernie Sanders. And yet here we are again now with Biden in office, and it's Biden's administration that's saying, yeah, no, I don't think there's any historical, value to anything you're saying. So we're not going to give you any security detail. That's just crazy to me. So hopefully Pasta will ask him about that when he gets in a room with them. But speaking of Bernie, they don't need Bernie anymore. Why don't they need Bernie anymore? Because they've already co-opted his movement and now his message. And here's just a small example of that.
Most Americans are a $400 unexpected expense away from bankruptcy.
Oh, seems like I remember that. Doesn't that sound familiar? That sounds like something Bernie Sanders has been saying for almost the last 10 years. I don't know, but are they going to do anything about it? That's what I want to know. Oh, I know what they're going to do about it. They're going to continue Republican cuts to social service programs. They're going to siphon billions of dollars out of the country to a proxy war with Russia and pretty much say, screw you to the poor people in our country. But now they're worried that we can't handle a $400 emergency. Well, if you would have sent us the full fucking Trump check, maybe we could. I'm just saying, that one still chaps my ass. Trump approved $2,000 checks for us, and they came in and they skimmed right off the top of every one of those checks and they put it in their pockets, and now they're out there telling you how good they did for you. Where were our $2,000 checks for the last 2 years? Huh? We got one check since Biden has been in office, and it wasn't approved by him. It was approved by Trump. We are living through crippling inflation right now, like nothing I've ever seen in my life. And I've been poor my whole fucking life. You know, we used to be able to maintain a standard of living as poor people, right? You budget, right? You know what your rent is, you know what your fuel costs are, or your heating costs are going to be. You budget that in, you know how much you have left over. That's how much you've got to spend on household items, gas, food, insurance, shit like that, right? Well, I've been very good at budgeting for 30 fucking years, and I can't budget to save my ass anymore. Every time I go to the store, it's $100 out of my pocket, even if I'm just there to pick up a few fucking things. Do you know what I paid for gas this weekend? $5.30 for a fucking gallon. $5.30 for a gallon. I put $20 in. You can do the math at how much gas I got. I got enough gas to get across town and back. That's all. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm pissed, but it's getting hard out here, and it's frustrating. And then you get this bitch giving us mouth service, lip service like this. Oh, well, you can't survive a $400 fucking, yeah, because of your guys' policies. We didn't have this problem under Trump. I tell you what, I was living fucking good under Trump with my budget. I knew what prices were for everything. I wasn't paying $6.50 for a bottle of mayonnaise. I was paying $3.99. That's a big difference. I wasn't paying $7 for eggs. I was paying $4 for eggs. I mean, it's just mind blowing how much everything has gone up. Wages aren't going up. You know, everything's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. We're getting squeezed to death down here at the bottom, and that's what they want, right? And we're going to talk about homelessness further down in the deck, and because I got a big section, and it is insane, the disconnect between the bourgeois, gated community, middle class people and the working class. They seriously think we're okay with being this poor and this broke. Oh, look, unemployment's at the best it's ever been. Yeah, because we're all working our fucking asses off trying to just stay alive. And I know I'm a little worked up for a Monday morning, but I'll calm down a little. You guys check this out. What is this? I don't even know the context of this. Okay, so this is Sky News, and this is the Prime Minister Rishi, right? But just check out this folder that's in his hand and how it changes colors. Are we even living in reality anymore? Did CERN spin us off into something else? Because I can't even wrap my mind around shit I see anymore. Check it out.
Still be going ahead.
It's a critical year for tackling climate change, and the government is committed to reaching net zero by 2050. But how much will coronavirus impact what many believed would be a green budget?
What the hell just happened there? It's red.
It's a
The
critical
folder's
year
red.
for tackling climate change, and the government is
He walked
committed
past
to
the
reaching
car.
net zero by 2050. But how
Boom.
much will
Now
coronavirus
it's green.
impact what many believed would be a green budget?
What the hell was that? Yeah, I'll play it again. I'll play it one more time. You guys check it out. The folder he walks out the door with is red. The guy next to him is the same guy, same backpack. It's not like it was two different dates and they spliced them together. You tell me in reality how that folder changed colors. Oh, come on. Don't go to the next slide. Play. Come on. Are we going to do this? There we go.
Still be going ahead.
It's a critical year for tackling climate change, and the government is committed to reaching net zero by 2050.
Same guy, same
But how
guy.
much will coronavirus
What
impact what
happened?
many believed would be a green budget?
Still be going ahead.
I'm
It's
so
a
confused.
critical year for tackling climate change, and the government is committed to reaching net zero by 2050. But how much will coronavirus impact what many believed would be a green
I don't understand
budget?
what I'm seeing here. I just don't understand what I just saw. What is that? Right at the front of the windshield of the car. What was, Amber? Yeah, creepy, and you see that out. I don't understand what I'm looking at. I just swear to God. I mean, I am convinced we're living in a simulation. I am convinced that collective thought changes everything. I am convinced that thought it manifests into reality. That's what we're here for. I mean, when you understand the quantum physics of our reality, There's no other way to explain what the hell is going on. So, yeah, I don't know. They were like, you were supposed to have the green folder because we're talking about green issues. So, poof, it just turned into a green folder. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was, but it was a cut in the frame. It wasn't cut in. I don't know. Same guy walking by him. Okay, let's talk about aliens. And look, honey, Project Bluebeam. I stole this from Amber this morning. Good one, Amber. Hilarious. Of course, I had to add Oz and I down there. And then we have this, let's see. I'm trying to find one that I can actually see the print on this. I know, I'll put glasses on. We have to come to experience, let's see. We have come to experiment on you. Please plunder your resources and enslave you forever. Oh, so you're from the government. Yeah, that's what the government does to us, right? And it is stressful to be poor, Jilly. It is so stressful. So stressful. I sat up all night stressing about how much is my car going to be and what could I not pay in order to cover the whole cost of it. Like that's what you do. You have to get creative. And that is why I love Roseanne Barr, because I will never forget probably 1985 or 86 watching an episode of Roseanne where she takes the phone bill and she puts it in the power bill envelope, and then she takes the power bill and she puts it in the phone bill envelope and she sends them off. She goes, well, we'll send them off, and by the time they realize the mix-up, that'll buy us a week to come up with more money to pay the bills. I mean, in reality, you could do that back then. In reality, you can't do that now, right? They'll just shut your power off. But yes, it's very stressful. So is this a big psych op? Well, of course it is. And we've been telling you that this was coming for years. If you've been watching Roar Media, myself and Amber and Oz, we have been telling you for years. We've explained what Operation Bluebeam is and how they're going to try to dupe the world with it. And yet here we are. So I think they're trying to cover up from all kinds of things, right? They've got the Hunter Biden scandal. They got the Biden shit. They've got all the money they're siphoning out to Ukraine. So here, look this way. But what about Africa? Because yeah, there's a lot going on with Africa saying, fuck you, America. We're not going to put up with your bullshit anymore.
Wow. I think I know why the U.S. is talking about aliens and having a distraction. The distraction is to divert our attention away from Africa. This is the president of Guyana. I'll get bit to him in a moment. Was doing my normal Russia and Chinese news update, and they are buzzing about sub-Saharan African countries right now. While the U.S. is trying to push loans and more debt on African countries, essentially to control them, the U.S. and counterparts are getting really worried because African countries are choosing countries like China to take loans from. And the same goes for Russia. In fact, Putin is talking about doing debt forgiveness. Russia has signed memorandums of cooperation with the Republic of Congo and Senegal. And just yesterday, President Xi met with the Mauritania, Burundi, Guyana, Georgia president. That was a mouthful. But let me show you why this is such a big deal. You see, the United States imports a ton of goods from Africa, specifically oil, platinum, vehicle. A major one to consider, which we've been increasing, there's a 21% increase in minerals. Minerals are really important to make tons of different products. So, as the U.S. and Africa relationships continue to sour day by day, we're doing these trips needing a reset. The vast majority of the goods and products that we imported from multitudes of African countries will get redirected to countries like Russia and China, which means that the cost of production for goods that most Americans buy will rise more. You know, less supply, same demand, higher prices. Think about this with some common sense. If you were an African country, which one would you rather work with? The one that's trying to give you more loans, debt, and slavery, or the one that's offering you $23 billion of debt write-off? So you tell me, what's more important, aliens or our economic ties with foreign countries that give us the livelihood that we've always
wanted and always have had? Yeah. Things are going to change dramatically in the United States with our supply chains in the coming years. I mean, the next 5 years, definitely by 2030, right? And I apologize to Kick. I wasn't logged in, but Kick should be funneling through to the main chat, so I don't understand why. But shout out to everybody hanging out over at the Kick. Of course, we are on Kick now. We're on X too. Hey X, what's up? Yeah, I mean, they're trying to distract us from everything, right? The level of corruption that's going on at all levels of our government right now. How much the other countries are tired of our bullying of them, and the fact that they don't want to have to keep paying us in petrodollars, and that they can get support from a country like China or Russia and cut us out, and they're going to do that with the new BRICS, and they're going to do that with the new currency that's going to be gold backed, that's going to come out of Russia. I'm really excited. I've had a Russian activist reach out to me, and we're looking to do some collaborating to try to bring some delegations together. So hopefully I'll be bringing you guys some really good info on that as I get it. The crazy puppet's in the house this morning. Good morning, crazy puppet. Okay, let's talk about Li Feng. And did you see the paperwork that he dropped this weekend? Li Feng says CIA is planning docs shows when they overthrew the Guatemalan president in 1954. They plotted planting flying saucer stories in the media to distract. Another declassified study shows that the Air Force misled the public in 1950s about UFOs, conceal the CIA spy plane testing. So how much of all those alien reports that we saw, because of Roswell, were because they were trying to cover up for the CIA's bullshit. And here's the reports themselves. So, let's see. A red rank that led the recent arrests, attempted to obtain a bigger play for agent stories, refugees and papers. Let's see what else. Let's see. According to the latest estimates from the CIA officials who worked on the U2 project and the X-CART, also known as Blackbird Project, over half of all UFO reports from the 1950s through the 1960s were accounted for by manned Renaissance flights named the U-2 over the United States. This led the Air Force to make misleading and deceptive statements to the public in order to allay public fears and to protect the extraordinary sensitive national security project, while perhaps justifying the deception after fuel to the later conspiracy theories and the cover-up controversies of the 1970s. The percentage of what the Air Force considers unexplained UFO sightings fell to only 5.9% in 1955 and only 4% in 1956. Oh my God, that was the year my mother was born, 1956. So there you are. I mean, right there is proof in the pudding that they have been duping us for fucking years with these UFO stories, and they just do it to cover up shit that they're working on. Now, we have been told this by so many whistleblowers over the last 20 fucking years. Dr. Greer, I mean, he's been saying it, right? He's like, oh no, these are our ships. These are shit that we're building. Do I think that they have some alien technology? I do. I think that, and they're admitting it, right? They're admitting it in congressional hearings, but how much of it is just reverse engineered shit that is now ours? Crazy puppet. Anything on Nigeria? No, I don't know much on that. Like I said, I wrote this show this morning. I was supposed to have pasta on this morning. And so this show is a throw together show. Like, I already apologize. It's not the best show I've wrote. Let's see. Edward Snowden. It's not aliens. I wish it were aliens, but it's not aliens. It's just the old engineered panic and attractive nuance ensuring NatSac reporters get assigned to investigate balloon bullshit rather than budget or bombs, aka the Nord Stream. Until next time. Yes, until next time. Thank you, Snowden. And he says that Roswell aliens are real. See, nobody cares. Show us the Epstein list, right? And that's just it. I mean, they're going to tell us about aliens way before they ever even show us the Epstein list. We're never getting that Epstein list. I hate to break it to you, but I've been saying that. So here, let's look at the amount of sightings in the United States versus the rest of the world. So this is 1906 through 2014 reported UFO sightings. Something's going on in America. Wonder what it could be. Could it be propaganda? Could it be fear mongering? Yeah, that's what's going on. So I think that chart speaks for itself, right? That's crazy. That is crazy. We get a lot of them over here in Washington State, right? There's some big ones out there in the scab lands. They always go hang out in the scab lands of Washington State looking for the UFOs. Now, I'm here to tell you, I've seen some crazy shit in the sky over the years, especially I would say since 2016, I've really seen some weird shit. But do I chalk it up to aliens? No, no, not at all. I chalk it up to probably military technology that I am just not privy to. You know, I swear to God, I saw this, what looked like a drone, but it was the size of a fucking Volkswagen. And it was sitting right at the tree lines, right by my house. And everybody saw it because we were all driving down the road. Everybody's jamming on their brakes. Everybody's looking, what the fuck is that? And well, I was in Chicago. We saw the swirly things, you know, they look like fish almost swimming the way they, you know, and there'll be like 20 of them, and then there'll be 10, and then there'll be 5. And I had quite a few activists with me, and we're just staring up there like, what the hell is that? I don't know what it was to this day, but it was military, I'm sure. So let's see. What is this? Oh, more money. Guess what, guys? U.S. announces a Taiwan weapons package worth up to $345 million. So, you know, Ukraine's not the only one taking our money. But you can't have anything in the United States. Fuck your bridges. Fuck your roads. Fuck your health care. Fuck your student loans and, you know, getting an education. That's not what we're here for. We have to support the UN. We have to support NATO, and we have to protect Taiwan, right? So that's where we are. I know convo's on. You can head over, Julie. I get it. Tell them Shanda sent you with love. Did you guys see this video of the UN? Okay, so we've had mass accusations of the UN being a part of sexually exploiting people wherever they're at, right? We hear a lot of stories about the R word in villages and whatnot, but did you see this? And this just speaks for itself, and I just give you guys discretionary advisory. This is a little I don't even know. Here, just you guys watch it. Yes, that is what you think it is. That is a UN worker getting stuck in a UN vehicle as he's driving down the road. Well, if that doesn't, you know, speak for itself, we've seen so many reports of UN abusing their power in these places, right? So that's just another example of it. Hold on, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. AC's my oldest brother and I saw the 2 parallel shooting stars. The other suddenly zigzagged across the sky, and it was on the news when we came home. Yeah, there's been some crazy shit going on in the skies. But, you know, we have Space Force now. Who knows what Space Force is up there doing? And, you know, that's just crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, UN workers, we knew they're terrible. We know that they're involved in trafficking, right? There you go. There's some video footage. But anymore, you can show people the truth. You can literally put a video in their face and they're just like, yeah, that's not happening. I mean, it's just like that. Claire Daly was on fire. She gave an amazing fiery speech. Let's hear from Claire Daly. God, I wish we had a billion Claire Dalys. We need so many. If we could just have one Claire Daly in the United States, that would be great. Just one.
Of rights. These are the crimes of apartheid. Israeli airstrikes on Gaza in May, 33 dead, hundreds wounded. This isn't self-defense, it's a war crime. The slaughter of children from the air in Jenin, not self-defense, war crimes, illegal, without anything on comment out of the European Union, while the Commission President toasts the birthday of Israel's occupation of Palestine as the realisation of a dream. Palestinians have a right to engage in resistance. Our duty under international law is to use diplomatic means to bring about an end to the intolerable conditions they live under. But until we stop rewarding Israel,
please come to an end.
Oh, please come to an end. We're tired of hearing the truth. We don't want you to tell us the truth about Israel anymore because, we all suck the ass of Israel. Don't stop talking about Palestine. And I will never. I will always tell you that what Israel is doing to Palestine is an apartheid and it's a genocide and it's wrong. And I don't care what religion you're raised in. The Bible says thou shalt not kill. So go ahead and spout your religious beliefs that we have to support Israel for the second coming of Christ, because it doesn't really say that you need to kill a bunch of people to get there. Just my opinion. Just my opinion this morning. Yeah, I see. I had a lot of this stuff on the deck for Pasta. I wanted to get Pasta's reaction to the geriatric home that is the Senate. Reluctant to retire, leaders raise a tough questions now. How old is too old? Two troubling moments involving Senators Dianne Feinstein and Mitch McConnell thrust questions about aging out of Congress and into the national conversation. Yes. Family torn between placing grandpa in hospice or having him run for Senate. Oh, definitely have him run for Senate. You make money. You don't lose money that way, right? Term limits. And I love it. Pelosi's out there saying she supports term limits. Can you believe that shit? If we had term limits, that bitch would have been gone a long time ago. A long time ago. Let's see. How's the chat doing? How many Soviet Jews and Zionists end up in Israel at the end of the day? 10 mil, 12 mil? I don't know. I don't know how many Soviet Jews made it into Israel. I really don't. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the homeless section because this section, and I brought something I've been wanting to share with you guys since last week. It's been on the deck, and it's about a 10-minute long video where the rich are pretending to be poor so that way they can be relatable, right? Okay, so here is a TikToker thinking that she's relatable because she went and played that she was homeless for 2 hours.
Yesterday, I pretended to be homeless for 3 hours, and I realized that if you're homeless, you're there by choice. Like, you are there by choice, 100% having that experience, just the way that I chose to go experience that by choice. It's just the only difference is the stories that you're telling yourself. So if you want to experience homelessness, you want to experience what it would be like to lose everything, you can go have that experience. Or you're welcome to create a bunch of bullshit stories in your life that force you, quote unquote, force you into that experience. But even when you go by force, it's still by choice because you wanted to have that experience. You just created a bunch of excuses for why you gave yourself permission to have it. It's just like,
oh my gosh, that just infuriates me. Listen, you twat-faced little spoiled elite. You can tell that you've lived no life in your short young years. You don't have a fucking clue about the hardships of addiction or mental health problems. This is the problem we're having in this country right now. It is this entitled fucking it's just a choice. You just choose to be out there and be homeless. I chose it for 3 hours yesterday. Isn't this shit live bullshit? Oh my God, it just pissed me off. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that a 3-bedroom, 1-bath in West Palm Beach is $7,500 a fucking month. Yeah, no, that's just a choice. You just choose to be poor. You don't choose to make $7,500 in a month and pay for rent. You would rather be out on the streets, living under a tarp and fearing for your life every time you close your eyes. Yeah, that's the reality of it. The other reality, it's a choice, right? Oh, that just infuriated me. The other thing is crippling addiction, which we can't even wrap our minds around in this country because it's different from state to state and from city to city. What is plaguing and crippling Philadelphia is not the same thing that is plaguing and crippling LA. It is absolutely not. Two totally different types of fucking addiction that are tearing people down. Therefore, the treatment has to be different. We just do these blanket treatments for everything. And the way that some of these drugs attack your mind and your body, I mean, trank eats you from the inside out. You get necrosis, your skin starts to rot off your body. You don't see that with crackheads and meth heads. It's totally different. But no, this young girl cannot comprehend something like that. So let's just take a look at Philadelphia, Kensington Avenue. I think this is probably in the last week, but she didn't pretend to do this for 3 hours, I promise. That is to say that anybody chooses that just goes to show how naive you are and how spoiled you truly are, because nobody chooses that. When you are deep in the throes of addiction, yeah, your mind is telling you, no, you don't want to go spend your last $5 on drugs. But your body is telling you, if you fucking don't, you're going to die. So you have no choice. The brain overpowers your common sense. The addiction, the monkey on your back is demanding to get fucking fed. So you have no choice but to feed. You don't want to steal that money out of your mom's purse. You don't want to rob your neighbors. These are our people. These are our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our aunts, our uncles. These are our fucking kids. And we just want to throw them away and be like, oh, they made a bad choice. They chose it. They chose to be there. It's so gross. It makes me so mad. But we have a problem with this, and TikTok is fueling it, fueling a lot of it. So I want to talk about why rich people pretend to be poor. Why are rich people pretending to be poor? Why would they do that? Well, because they want to be relatable, right? When you live in your gated bourgeois community, you're not relatable to the everyday suffering out there. So all you can talk to is the other rich kids that are watching you. So they pretend. And this is a 10-minute clip. We're going to watch the whole thing. It's important because I don't think people realize that this is happening, that so many internet influencers are out there pretending to be poor and telling poor people, it's not that bad. What are you complaining about?
This is Hannah Nealman. Hannah and her husband Daniel own Ballerina Farm. On this farm, the Nealmans live a picturesque farmhouse lifestyle with their children in tow. The farm looks like it was made in the 1800s, and the family kind of does too. Hannah records this quaint farm life and publishes it all online to her combined 8 million followers. The videos show the Nealmans' life on this adorable, modest homestead. Hannah spends her days baking rustic loaves of bread from scratch or hand-milking cows with her children. It's very pastoral and very romantic. The videos seem to say, hey, we live in an old, run-down farm and we make the best of what we have. It's all genuinely quite charming. Except Hannah and Daniel are billionaires. Daniel's father founded JetBlue Airlines, and Daniel is the heir to that empire. This fact is left out of all of their videos, I would argue, quite conspicuously. I don't think the Nealmans are pretending to be poor, but they are co-opting poverty as an aesthetic, or at least some bizarre, fictional version of it. Poverty in the modern world is not baking bread or milking cows, and we'll talk about that later. But this video is not about putting Hannah and her family on blast, because A, who cares, and B, the Nealmans are not the first rich people to treat poverty like a fashion statement. What they are doing is not unique at all. Rather, it is a symptom of a much more popular phenomenon that has been around for a really long time. Longer than you probably think. Today, though, beamed through social media by influencers and celebrities alike, it all feels especially depraved. why is this happening? Why is being poor the new being rich?
I wish.
Marie Antoinette was the last queen of France before the French Revolution. Goes without saying she was extremely, extremely wealthy. Indeed, she was known for her opulent lifestyle. During her reign, Marie Antoinette built what is called Le Hameau de la Reine, or the Little Hamlet. She recruited workers to create a modest village for her, basically in her backyard. It was designed to look like an everyday peasant village, complete with farm animals like goats, cows, and sheep. Altogether, the Queen built 5 brand new buildings. These cottages mimicked those found in the idyllic French countryside. Of course, without all the dirt, starvation, and rampant deadly disease. One of the cottages was made for the Queen and her immediate attendants, while the others housed the peasants who actually worked on the farm. If stories are to be believed, Marie Antoinette often found herself bored and or frustrated by the trappings of royalty. Okay. When the world just got to be too much for her, the Queen would go to her farm and dress up like a peasant. Literally. Marie Antoinette would change from her royal garb into peasant clothes, into a plain muslin dress. She and maybe some friends would milk cows, tend gardens, and play with animals. After a few days of make-believing she was poor, Marie Antoinette would return to her royal lifestyle. In fairness, this story isn't really accepted as fact by historians. It's something like an urban legend. But the fact that it has persisted tends to indicate a degree of plausibility. It feels like something that tasteless, out-of-touch rich people like Marie Antoinette would do. Because it is. We don't have to go that far back in time to find it happening. Kim Kardashian recently did a photo shoot where she dressed up like a milkmaid.
So gross.
This is eerily similar to the tales about Marie Antoinette in a way that is simultaneously repulsive, dystopian, and wholly unsurprising. The luxury brand Balenciaga sold dirty shoes with holes in them for $2,000. Retail giant Urban Outfitters has said their aesthetic is, quote, upscale homeless. All of this is super weird and feels kind of out of touch. The whole fake poor thing can also be seen in the entire phenomenon of van life. I'm sure there are plenty of van lifers that are not rich, but I know and everyone else knows that a lot of van lifers are just 20-somethings who came from money. I mean, these vans can cost north of $100,000. Van lifers have basically just gentrified homelessness. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with living in a van, but it is a very obvious example of the rich pretending in some way to be poor. Rich van lifers can be poor without the hard parts about actually being poor. They have safety nets. They don't have to struggle to eat. When rich people live in a van, it's cool. When poor people do it, they're seen as somehow less than. But all of this gets really boring. Who cares what rich people do? Sitting around complaining about it, rattling off chief offenders, is not a worthwhile use of time. What is really interesting, though, are the reasons why rich people love to act poor and what it says about our world. Perhaps the number one way to show off wealth has always been some form of exceptionalism. The rules of society don't apply to a person because they are wealthy and they want to broadcast that. Look at this huge house, look at this expensive car. I have all of these things and they make me different from regular society. I am rich, therefore I am exceptional. The standards and expectations of real life do not apply to me. You can tell by the way my life is, by the things I own. So, keeping that in mind, today we live in a world inundated by, well, everything. We are expected to both produce and consume as much as possible. Our entire lives revolve around work, which is just a way to produce goods or services, or more accurately, money. The first thing we ask people is what they do for a living, which is basically just another way to ask what they produce. Your level of production is perhaps the most valued trait in modern Western society. So, what if you can go live on a farm? What if you can spend all day producing a single loaf of bread, and that's it? In a world driven by productivity, producing nothing is the most exceptional, elite thing you can do. Information overload was once something we struggled with. Now it's just something we must endure in order to survive. We have to be constantly plugged in, or we can't do our jobs. We can't be connected to our families or our loved ones. Without a constant stream of news, we become ignoramuses who don't pay attention to the world around us. But if you have enough money, you have the privilege of escaping this reality. You don't need to deal with information overload. You can just bake your bread on your farm or whatever. The pop singer Ed Sheeran famously doesn't have a phone, but I guarantee you he pays someone to have a phone for him. Being completely removed from the world around us has always been a hallmark of the rich. But today's world looks very different than it once did, so being removed from it does as well. Perhaps people are so fed up with the rat race that winning it is no longer aspirational. Instead, ducking out of it altogether is the pinnacle of success.
Okay, I'm just going to cut it there because it looks like it still has another 10 minutes. But you guys get, or another 5 minutes. You guys get the gist of the message there, right? These elite like to pretend that they're poor. And we see this all over YouTube. I see this with people that I'm living in my car. Like, bitch, you ain't living in your car. I can just tell by looking at you. You ain't living in your car. You film a segment and then you go home to whatever comfy house you have. You are not living in your car. But we see this with the van lifers and what he's saying about the van lifers. Absolutely. But I mean, how sick is that the JetBlue son, he gets to just opt out of reality because, hey, I got more money than you and I get to set up a farm and grow organic foods. And can you see they're poisoning us? We can't eat what they're selling us. Yes, we see they're poisoning us, but we don't have the luxury of, bouncing out and going and hanging out on a farm. I wish we could come together and build one big farm for all of us. I mean, that is the dream, right? That is the dream. So I ain't buying it anymore. And I'm just disgusted by it. Call it out. I'm going to call it out when I see it. Just like that young girl on TikTok. Oh, I played homeless for 3 hours. You played homeless, honey. You weren't homeless. What's up, Uncle Warren? Hanging out over on the Rokfin, too. Yeah, what's for lunch? Top ramen's for lunch. 38 cents a pack. And that's expensive because I remember when it used to be 20 cents a pack. Okay, let's get into COVID. Of course, we're on YouTube, so we're not going to go too crazy, but there's lots to talk about. There's labs being busted. There's so much. So let's start out with some truths getting dropped on the EU Parliament.
We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts, provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
Yeah, she said a lot there, right? And Uncle Warren, you had me dying. Soft Coo was your porn name? Okay, Soft Coo it is. Let's see. Why do I have too much light on one side of my face? One of my lights broke this weekend. Always a problem. Yeah, I mean, everything she said there is what we've been warning you about for a long time now with the passage of the WHO's new, it's a treaty basically, right? It's an agreement with all these countries that, yeah, we'll hand over our sovereignty. You tell us how to handle pandemics in the future, what meds to take. But from all the interviews that I listened to about this and all the terrible Orwellian shit that's going to roll out with this, the worst of it is the amount of money they're going to get. We thought the WHO was super funded before. You just wait. This is going to be supercharged now. They are now that light's in my way. They are going to get a shit ton more money, and that's not what they need, right? I mean, that just helps them roll out the Orwellian bullshit even faster. So I brought a World Economic Forum clip from 2022. I want to say, I think this, I don't think this was the last year, it was the year before, but this is them admitting how much money they made, Big Pharma made in 2019 versus 2020. Listen to these numbers.
I'm going to go with Stefan Bancel. Let's talk about vaccine development, because we've heard how it happened, obviously, with COVID-19 starting from 2022 and how extraordinary the process was also in terms of the speed. How is development, adoption and scaling of vaccine going on when it comes to different variants and subvariants? Because this is one of the big concerns as we're all here now and we're discussing, we understand the context, and this is a great deal.
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for having me on the panel. So the great news versus 2020, where we are today, is we have manufacturing capacity. As Seth knows, when the pandemic happened, Moderna had made 100,000 doses in 2019 for the whole year. And I remember walking after Davos into the office of my head of manufacturing, and I say, how we make 1 billion doses next year? And you look at me a bit funny, say, what? I say, yeah, we need to make 1 billion doses next year. There's going to be a pandemic.
Oh, how did they know that? How did they know? So they made $100,000 in 2019. They say they need more money and that they're going to make $1 billion in 2020. And guess what? They made $1 billion in 2020. What a quinky dink. If you just listen, they tell you what they're doing. Ghostart says Idaho Joe just had to move into his van. Yeah, I saw that. Very, very sad. But I'm glad that he at least has a safe place to lay his head, even though it's, depending on where you're parking, it's not very safe. I know a lot of people that are living in their vehicles right now. And Crazy Puppet, thank you for the super chat, says, I'm homeless, just a storage unit now. Oh, got tired of paying for rent when I was spending only a total of 20 days out of the year at home. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I can understand. I've done the storage unit living for a while where I put everything in storage and couch surfed or lived in my car. I could see if you're working that much, yeah, it would be difficult to pay for a car, or a home that you're never at, right? Ugh, that's the reality of the world we're living in now. And it's probably smarter, but be careful. Stay up on your storage unit, because I literally lost everything I owned. I went across country and I just had one of those fuck it moments, and I just didn't want it anymore. I had been packing around 35 years of crap, all of my kids stuff from them being kids and teenagers, and family heirlooms, and all my grandmother's stuff and all my mother's stuff that I inherited over the years. And I literally went from a 4-bedroom house to putting it all into a storage unit to fucking walking away from all of it. Somebody got it in Storage Wars, I'm sure, and they auctioned it off. And yeah, I was sad that there was little knickknacks here and gone, maybe little keepsakes that had been in the family for years. But honestly, I didn't miss any of that shit. And let me tell you how fast I reaccumulated that shit. I'm here, 13 years later, and I have probably the same amount, if not as much shit as I had when I let my storage unit go 13 years ago. It's just crap, man. That's what I've learned over all the years, right? For as much as things are sentimental, it's just crap. You're going to die and it's not going with you. It's just going to be left for somebody else to deal with. You know, we have this insane need to consume and collect. I mean, that's why we have such a hoarder problem, especially in the United States. There are so many hoarders in the United States. Believe me, I've worked on a lot of hoarder houses over the years. And yeah, it makes me, Storage Wars was a fake as fuck. Yeah. That shit is just, it pisses me off. I'm like, you guys are getting rich, pillaging through people's stuff that they obviously couldn't afford to keep. I mean, it just makes me mad because it put me right back in that moment of losing my storage unit and knowing that somebody was going through all of my stuff and getting, making money off of all my stuff. I had beautiful stuff in my storage unit, beautiful, buffets and china hutches and all of the glassware that all of my grandmothers and mothers, had collected over the years. All of that gone. And yeah, somebody made money off it. It pisses me off. So yeah, I hate Storage Wars. I will give you that. Storage Wars suck. And Crazy Puppet, I just want to tell you, we so appreciate you supporting independent media the way you do, and all of you. But I see you crazy out there hitting so many of our brothers and sisters in independent media, and it keeps us going. And I just appreciate all of you who are so consistent with keeping independent media up and going. We can't do it without you. That's for sure. Let's see. Do you see this? 1,887 deaths of athletes in the last 2 years, normally 30 years old. And yeah, I think I have the article that goes with that. But are we shocked? I'm not shocked. Every day I log into X and see another athlete on a field dropping. And my whole thought is, okay, so we're seeing all of these athletes, right, who are getting sick. But what about the everyday people? I mean, the athletes are in prime shape. They're in the best shape of their lives, most of them. So what about the middle-aged, overweight, overworked, overstressed person who took the vax? How come we're not getting more reports of everyday people doing this at the grocery store or while they're driving in their car? Is it happening and we're just not hearing about it? That's the question I ask myself when I see those numbers, right? Like, it has to be happening everywhere if it's happening there, That's just a microcosm. So, do you guys hear about this lab that they busted down in California? This mysterious Chinese lab, right? Because China's bad. I mean, I get China's bad. China does a lot of bad shit, right? And I kind of feel like we're stuck in this really weird place in independent media where, we don't want to criticize China. We don't want to criticize Russia, even though they do bad shit, because our government is so much worse. Right? I always like, maybe I don't want to do a story on China because, but like I saw a story yesterday where they have a new thing with their social credit score in China, where if somebody calls your phone that has a lower score or whatever the lowest score is, it does this like woo 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 warning. If you answer this call, your credit score is going to go down. So now in China, you're not even allowed to talk to people who have a lower credit score. Oh my God, I'm going to live in fucking isolation. Nobody's going to be able to talk to me because I have the lowest credit score on the planet, I believe. But let's check this Chinese lab out. What the fuck were they doing there?
This is Dabu7. We have questions swirling now about why there is this mysterious Chinese biolab in Reedley, California, and how it's gone on for so long without being noticed. What we do know as of right now is that this lab was discovered because some of the security going around the area drove by what was supposed to be an empty building used for storage, and they noticed that there was a hose coming out of the back of this brick building. They didn't understand what was going on with it. So after inspecting some things and looking into it, they come to find out that there's something more going on here. So they pried a little more and more. They finally got a warrant, were able to get in after some suspicions, and they find blood, tissue, other bodily fluids, other samples and serums, thousands of vials of unlabeled fluids, suspected biological agents and material. Additionally, they found some 900 genetically engineered mice. There's no telling what was going on here large scale. They're saying it was an illegal operation that should not have been going down like this. And all the stuff that they've got here in the wrong setting could cause great harm, just depending on what gets released and all that. I mean, we've seen the horror movies. 28 days later, something out of a lab. People are asking, how did this go down? How's this possible? And why here in Reedley, California?
Yeah, why? That's my question. Why? What was this about? I mean, we've 28 days later, shit, we've lived it. We just lived through a pandemic, right? I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore because the right wants to attack China so much. Is this a narrative that's been pushed by the right? Is this a lab that's in cooperation with the left? I mean, I got so many questions, and it seems like China's allowed to come into the US and do whatever the hell they want. We've got police stations, now we got their labs, but we do the same shit. You can't tell me that the Wuhan lab was not funded by the NIH and Fauci. No matter how much he lies to Congress about it, it's on paper. We know where that money went and how it got there. Hello, Fauci. You can lie to the American people, but we're not going to believe you. And so, yeah, I don't know what this lab's about. I'll keep an eye on the story, see if anything more develops, but seems kind of weird. And it is scary. It is scary but you know what? We have these labs all over the fucking world, all over the world. For the ones that are actually funded and babysat by the NIH and the WHO, the ones that we're told about, what about all the ones in Ukraine that we funded, that Biden helped set up, right? Hunter Biden was over there setting up biolabs. I mean, we got a biolab problem all over the goddamn world, and it's not just in California, is my thought. So weird story. Don't know what it means, but I'll keep an eye on it. And this is an old story, but I just wanted to remind you that this Kira Butler is a terrible piece of shit for Mother Jones. Anti-vaxxers have a dangerous conspiracy theory called natural immunity, and it's growing in the mainstream. Yeah, we remember when you told us that natural herd immunity was a conspiracy theory. We remember. We're not going to forget. Definitely not forget. Let's see. I had a bunch of articles here. Oh, there's the athlete one, the serious athlete one. Like I said, this show was set up to have Oz engineer it, and Pasta was supposed to be on. So sorry, guys. It's kind of a little different this morning. Oh, I suppose I could close all these off. Let's see what's next. Something that surprised Alex Jones. Let's see. I got this from Pasta. The CDC is likely to recommend annual COVID shots in the fall, and they have a new director. Did you guys know the CDC has a new director, and she's aiming to restore trust to the agency? Would you ever trust the CDC again? Let's see. I'm going to bring this article in because I believe it has a video. Athletes, outbreak, CDC. Here we go. Yeah, there's a video with this one. I trusted the CDC for many years, right? That was our go-to if there was a problem. What does the CDC say? And I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I was very hyper-focused on what is the CDC reporting? How does the CDC say we should handle this? Because I was still, even though I was awake, I was still thinking that we at least had an entity in the CDC that was looking out for the best interests of human health, Well, we now know that's not true. But let's see how they're going to revamp their bad image. Can I make that bigger? How do I make that bigger? There we go.
As Dr. Mandy Cohen walks into a room of CDC staffers, it has the feel of a first day of school. Hi. Employees assessing the new boss, the boss hoping to get to know her team, an agency that consists of 20,000 staffers around the world. This is the first gathering of what Cohen's calling Meetups with Mandy, a laid-back gathering she hopes to replicate. The internal medicine physician, mother of two, who regularly wears a Hebrew high necklace, meaning life, had early inspiration to get into the medical field. Her mom was a nurse practitioner.
I saw how her work really impacted not just the person she was serving, but their families and then communities.
We joined Cohen in Atlanta at the CDC's headquarters shortly after President Joe Biden chose her as director, replacing Dr. Rochelle Walensky, who recently stepped down.
What was it about the CDC that made you say, I want to get back into the public sector?
So when an opportunity to lead an agency whose mission is to protect the health of this nation and frankly the world, it was easy to get to yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Mandy Cohen.
Cohen became a household name in North Carolina, leading the state's Department of Health and Human Services during the height of the COVID pandemic. At every turn, Cohen, armed with her graphs and preaching what were known as the 3 W's, spoke to North Carolinians through constant press conferences. She gained respect from both sides of the aisle in this politically purple state.
While we saw trust go down in lots of institutions, we actually saw trust increase in North Carolina. So we measured trust in the Department of Health and Human Services, and we saw that increase.
But being trustful is not something the agency she now heads has recently become known for. A study published in March by Health Affairs found 26% of Americans in a survey last year did not have a lot of trust in the CDC.
Only 26?
There were things that could have been done differently at the CDC.
Folks have been very clear that the CDC did lose trust. There were some early places where the CDC did not perform and execute in the way that they needed to.
The agency was criticized during the Trump administration for becoming political and moving too slow on COVID, while under the Biden administration it was condemned for not communicating clear guidance on COVID. Cohen says she plans to focus on transparency, execution, and building relationships with the public, health leaders, and politicians, Democrat and Republican. In Congress, House Republicans are looking to make significant cuts to the CDC in the budget.
Just like we have a military to protect us here and around the world, we need a CDC that can protect us. We cannot see those cuts and have the national security asset we need here at the CDC.
A threat to national safety could play out this winter. Cohen says she's closely watching the risk of a triple-demic, a mix of the flu, RSV, which the CDC recently approved a vaccine to be administered to people of some ages, and COVID, which Cohen tells us the CDC will likely issue guidance on in September for how often to get vaccinated.
We anticipate that what COVID will become is similar to what we're seeing with flu shots, where it's going to be you get your annual flu shot and you get your annual COVID shot.
Convincing all Americans to get a shot is the challenge.
I'm very worried about folks not vaccinating their kids. There's plenty of other things that are hard as parents that we can't do. This is one that we can. Nice to meet you.
In many ways, the job of a government agency head is part policy and part communicator. Cohen is doubling down on the latter, trying to create a camaraderie within a worldwide agency, while aiming to restore trust in medicine and in a place where the goal is about saving lives. In Washington, Reuben Jones.
Dude, that was scary. Was that scary or shit? She's like, I'm worried about people not vaccinating their kids, and yeah, we're gonna recommend you get the vaccine, the flu shot every year, and we're gonna add this to it, and we need more money. And yeah, she had crazy eyes. Why do they always have crazy eyes? Jinkowitz had crazy eyes. There was another one with crazy eyes. Like, they always have the crazy eyes, right? There's some scary shit what she said. And remember that episode where they blew the CDC up on Walking Dead? Like, that was the finale of season 1. Yeah, that was a good episode. just a suggestion. Just saying. If it happened in TV, it could be good. Okay, let's bring my main deck back in. But that's not the only thing we have to worry about out there, right? Because now we have these high resistant funguses, and now we have a yeast. This is locally for me. This is Tacoma, Washington, that a new highly drug resistant yeast was confirmed in Pierce County patient during a standard screening. So Washington hospitals take precaution after the first Candida outbreak, and it's a highly drug resistant yeast, which was confirmed in Pierce County. So, and I keep seeing all of these different funguses, yeast that we've been warned about for many, many years, that if we keep throwing super antibiotics, how we have these super antibiotics, they call them broad spectrums, or, that just they just annihilate everything in your system, basically. They kill all the good fauna, they kill all the bad fauna. And we've been warned that if we keep using these antibiotics against these things, that they were going to build up a resistance. And we're seeing resistance to all kinds of shit, funguses. And did you guys see the red tick warning, the red meat tick that is down in the South? I didn't bring that story, but apparently if this tick bites you, you become allergic to red meat. Well, imagine how convenient that is for the climate activists who are trying to get everybody off of meat. That's just a coinky dink, right? Couldn't have been engineered that way at all. No, not at all. Let's see, what is this? Congress has yet to investigate the bioweapons attack against it. While Congress is about to start another hearing on January 6th, the 2001 anthrax attacks on Congress that induced terror spawned invasions, and the Patriot Act has gone largely unexamined for decades. That's just a reminder of, and every time we do get information about that attack, right, they have a scapegoat. We've had 3 scapegoats, I want to say, that they've tried to pin those anthrax attacks on. But when you know what's really going on, you know where that came from. Fort Detrick? Yeah, exactly. But, let's be scared of these Chinese labs that just pop up in California. Jilly sent me this one this morning. Speaking of meat. So, what is this called? Arrows Bros steak. Grow your own human meat kit is technically not cannibalism. Oh my gosh. Do I have the article for this? Let me see. Do I have the article? This is gross, man. Oh, okay, I do. I'll bring the article in for this. What the fuck? You gonna grow your own meat at home? Your own meat substitute. It's not actual meat. Who would actually eat this? Oh, why do I have Sarah Silverman brought up too? That's gross. CDC hospital. There we go. Let's look at this article. See what it's all about. Okay. So, a group of American scientists and designers have developed a concept for growing your own steak kit using human cells and blood to question the ethics of the cultural meat industry. So the Eurobros steak could be grown by dinner at home using your own cells, which are harvested from inside their cheek. Oh my God. And fed serum derived from expired donated blood. Well, it's expired blood. It's not, real blood. The result is bite-sized pieces of meat currently on display as a prototype at the Banzel Design of the Year exhibit. A creator entity without cause harm to animals. So, hey, you're saving your planet. The creators argue this can't be said that the growing selection of cultured meat made from animal cells, despite lab-grown meat industry claiming to offer a more suitable, cruelty-free alternative to factory farming, the process still relies on a fetal bovine serum. I don't even want to know. Amber, what the fuck is fetal bovine serum? As a protein-rich growth supplement for animal cell cultures. So it would cost about, what is that, 700 pounds? And the blood of a calf fetus. Oh, so you get the blood of a calf fetus, and their pregnant mothers are slaughtered by the meat and dairy industry. So lab-grown meat remains a byproduct of a pollutant practice, much like regular meat. So, okay, so so they still have to harvest the bovine serum. So they're still killing animals, right? Fetal bovine syrup costs significant amounts of money and the lives of animals, says scientist Andrew Pilling. Okay. So, oh my gosh, that's insane. But hey, you're not a cannibal if you're taking some cells from the inside of your cheek and making your own meat. Oh my gosh, isn't that gross? That is just okay. I've already done with this week and it's only Monday. I just can't even do this. I can't even. And who would eat that? I don't even want to eat fake chicken nuggets. Are you kidding? Like I'd want to eat that. Like you'd want to eat that. But hey, you're not saving the planet because they're still slaughtering cows to get this stuff. Oh, so gross. And speaking of gross, let's talk about Julian Assange before we get out of here. I'm going to cut out a little early today to go find out what's going on with my car. But let's see. Blinken slams the door on Australian bid for Assange. The U.S. Secretary of State confirmed Australia has lobbied the U.S. to end the WikiLeaks publisher's prosecution, but they said unequivocally that it would continue. He has done illegal stuff, is what he said. What did he say? He said, the charges are extremely serious. Yeah, that's what he said. Blinken said, the charges are extremely serious. So we knew that there was a lot of lobbying going on from the Australian government. And of course, Stella, she's been leading that up and pushing, right? Let him go. What the fuck is your guys' final outcome? What is the final, game for this? And we knew. It's becoming more and more every day that Julian's going to end up on American soil, and it's going to be up to more Americans to get out there and start screaming. So just prepare for it. If you're on the East Coast and you support Assange and he lands on American soil, you're going to have to do what you can to get there. I know on the West Coast I'm going to, but those that are closer, I'm hoping can get there daily to put pressure on these guys. This is insane. This is fucking insane. I mean, the whole world sees all of this. They're not blind. So these men committed war crimes, and this man exposed war crimes. Guess which one's in jail? Yeah. Come on, guys, let's write Julian. I know I've been harping it for over a year now, but it only takes 5 minutes to write a postcard, send a letter, tell him we support him, tell him we stand with him, to hang in there. This too will come to an end at some point, and hopefully we can get him freed. Okay, how's the chats doing? It's not going to be advertised. No, it's not. Bovine syrup. Yeah. Oh my God. That's the crazy world we live in. Hey, you guys see Taylor Swift's the #1 artist in the world right now with the biggest concert tour of the summer. She makes millions singing about her bad choices in men and then endorses Joe Biden. Yeah. That's the reality of it. All the shit lives, they stick together. Oh, we got one more meme in here. What is this? When tyranny is law, revolution is in order. Yes. Remember that time you said the Steele dossier was credible and Hunter's laptop wasn't? Yeah, that was awesome. I love those memes. Rest in peace, Chris Farley. You just got joined by Pee Wee Herman. I'm so sad to hear about it. Of course, Pee Wee passed. Cow adrenochrome. That's what I was thinking, Popeye. Like, what are they harvesting? What is this bovine syrup? And can the rich drink it? Because if they can, they will. We know that. Oh, that's just a crazy conspiracy. Your gardening meme for the day. I might have a problem. Yeah, I do have a problem. Do you guys have a problem? I do. I never ever throw a pot out because, hey, I might use it for starts or I might have another plant that needs it. And yeah, we all end up with these piles, right? Most of mine are being used right now, but good thing my girlfriend's going to bring me some more this weekend. And I got to tell you guys about something that Snorky, I know some of you guys know Snorky Y2K. He's been in the chats. He's always in the chats. Mitchell, we love you. Mitchell has gifted me a grow up that he had, and he's helping me get it set up for indoor peppers for the winter. And I know him and his wife, who's who's passed, rest in peace, used to do this. And he sent me pictures of it. And I'm like, I'm in a small space. He's like, you can do it in a small space. So I've been getting these Amazon shipments dropped off at the house, and I'm getting everything put together. We're going to do a winter grow up this winter. I literally am going to pull my couch out of here, get rid of my chairs, have nowhere in the living room. I don't use my living room anyways. I'm either in here in my studio or outside or in bed. So, and I don't do visitors. Like, who wants to come to the trailer park and hang out? I don't invite the head of the Washington State Dems to my trailer park. So, yeah, I'm just going to turn my whole living room into a grow up and battle my cats to keep them out of it, because the cats are just, they love plants because they don't get outside, and they ate my damn broccoli seeds this morning. I've never known a cat to eat broccoli seeds, but there you are. So I will be keeping you guys updated on that. The sunflowers are getting huge. They're like, I don't know, 8 feet tall now, but I do have some leaves dropping on them, so I'm a little worried about them. Okay, guys, we got through Monday. I expected to do a totally different show this morning. I was going to have Pasta on. We were going to grill him about his Fifi's getting hurt because none of us want to support RFK Jr. And we're still going to have that conversation with Brother Pasta, but we'll have to do it, I don't know, sometime this week when he's got an opening. So, yeah, broccoli sprouts are good. Are they? I grew broccoli a couple years ago and it never turned into broccoli. It turned into these weird flower things. I don't know. I never got broccoli. I just got a weird spot. Or was that Brussels sprouts? Yeah, I grew Brussels sprouts and it did something weird too. I'll try again though. I really want to try avocados. Or I mean, not avocados. I've got an avocado growing. Artichoke. I hear artichoke grows really well in our very cold climate up here in the Pacific Northwest. So, hey, it's 66 degrees. Yay, it's warmed up a little bit. Looks like we're having a hot one today. I don't know why summer has avoided the Pacific Northwest, but it has. Okay, guys, this has been a good show, but let's see. I'm going to go check on my car. My car, of course, is at the shop right now getting an estimate for all the repairs. If you want to help me out, I know it's tough out there for everybody. So I appreciate it so much when you guys do help me out. The gratitude I have for you guys keeping me in the game on the air. I can't thank you guys enough. So all the links are in the description below, and hey, you guys, we got a cookbook. You don't have to send us no money, no nothing. Just send us some recipes. If you want to help out and you can't afford to help out, you can help out by sending us your recipes. I think we should make this a poor cookbook, Amber. I think it should be like the poorest, cheapest recipes, like Depression era type freaking water pie and potato candy, these crazy recipes that our grandparents lived on, dandelion salad. This is the type of stuff I want to see go in this cookbook. So you got a great old fashioned save your ass, save your money recipe. Send it to us. You can email me, you can email Amber or roarmedia@pm.me. Please help us out with the cookbook. And that we're going to be selling the cookbook to raise money to get to Argentina in October. Aspen fallen, Shiba dog shouting, good luck in a megaphone. Okay, good luck. Yes, definitely good luck. Thank you so much. So let me shout you guys out. Today's closer came from y'all. I don't remember who sent it to me. It is a Phil Orchard or Oach cover. I had never heard it before. It's a beautiful song, so we're going to run with it today. But I want to shout chats out. It's 80 Go Start. I wish it was 80. I'm a sun worshiper, and I live in the wrong part of the country. Wesley, good to see you. Agreed. Broccoli sprouts are great and very easy to grow in your kitchen windowsill. I'm doing a lot more kitchen windowsill growing. And lettuce, man, I'm just doing pots of lettuce. We're big salad eaters. We eat lettuce on everything. And the quality of lettuce that I've been getting locally just fucking sucks unless I go to the farmer's store, the good co-op. But the Walmart and the Safeway, I'm not spending $4 on a head of lettuce that's half rotten halfway through. And that's the quality that we're getting up here. So start growing stuff in your windowsills. Popeye was hanging out today. Go Start, Aspen Fallen, 2 bunnies. Hi, you made it in. Of course, Anthony. Welcome, our Lori. Good to see you. Kill your egros. Hello, happy Monday. Uncle Warren keeping me laughing like always, and Crazy Puppet hanging out. Snow Leopard. Snow Leopard was one of the first ones in this morning. Son of Clay. I bet you the Son of Clay. Let's see. Who else do we have? I saw a couple of new names come in. We welcome all the new people to our community because that's what we are. I don't consider myself in the same lane as, our brothers and sisters. All I'm doing is showing you what I'm finding on the internet, giving you my opinion on it. Yeah, I do interview shows and stuff, but I can go interview people, but everybody else does, I want to talk to you about the gossip crap that I find online. And oh my God, Friday's Uncensored is going to be a banger, let me tell you, because I've pulled back every other Friday. So one Friday night, I'll do a movie night. And the following Friday, I will do an Uncensored in the morning. So that way there's always something on Roar on Friday nights, or you'll get me for Uncensored. And it takes a while to collect Uncensored. I got to collect it. So I've got a bunch collected. We're going to talk about Jamie Foxx, Howard Stern. I got some good stuff for Friday. So join me Friday. You're lurking today. Hey, Natalie. Good to see you. Amber King, no deadline yet, but time is fleeting. So get our tickets to I know. I'm stressed about getting our tickets to Argentina because I know the airfare flights are going up every damn day. It costs more and more. So yes, I would love to get those set probably by the end of August for sure. Jim, thank you so much for joining us. You're such a great supporter. I see Jim always over on the Rokfin. Copeland Morris too. Thank you so much. And I think Aram's in there too. Hi, Aram. If you're hanging out, Aram. Hi. And Denver Attaway was hanging out. Okay, I'm going to let you guys out of here, but I have homework for you. I want you all to go over and hang out over at the Convo Couch if they're still alive. And definitely support all of our brothers and sisters in independent media. And I think Jimmy's live today, so that'll make for a good Monday. Okay, I think I am out of here. I'm going to go find out how much of a heart attack I'm going to have, how much my car is going to cost, and I will be back Wednesday morning. So I will see you Wednesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. And till then, this is called In the Heat of the Summer. This is a great cover. Great cover. Whoever sent it to me. I don't remember who sent it, but thank you so much. Okay, you guys have a great day. I'll be back Wednesday.
In the heat of the summer, when the pavements were burning, the soul of a city was ravaged in the night. After the city's sun was sinking, now no one knows how it started, why the windows were shattered. But deep in the dark, someone set the spark, and then it no longer mattered. Down the streets they were rumbling, all the tempers were raging. Oh where are the white silver tongues who forgot to listen to the warnings? On and on come the angry, no longer following reason. And all the stores were the target now, where just the other day they were buying. Drunk with the memory of the ghetto, drunk with the lure of the looting, and the memory of the uniforms shoving with their sticks, asking, are you looking for trouble? No, moaned the mayor. It's not the way of the order. Oh, stay in your homes, please leave us alone. We'll be glad to talk in the morning. For shame, wrote the papers. Why the hurry to your hunger? Now the rubble's resting on your broken streets, so you see what your rage has unraveled. Barricades sadly were rising, bricks were heavily flying. over.